Hello, MGTOW. Hello, men. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, as promised, here is 10 things girls wish men knew about women. And this is the companion article to 10 things guys wish women knew about men. And I hope you watched the first one. It's a nice article, and it states things in a very reasonable, rational, thoughtful, considerate way. And this is the companion article that I promised from a woman's point of view. So let's go into this one. Here we go. Ladies, and gentlemen, be aware that this is feminist propaganda, okay? And we're reading it for critical purposes. But with that in mind, reading it is still somewhat toxic and dangerous because it's full of, shaming language and the implication that these attacks and views are in fact normal, and they're not. These articles, these, I don't know what we could really call them, are an attempt to influence the thoughts of others, right? So it's important that you contrast this with the other article. So with that in mind, ladies, is your relationship suffering at the hands of your own stupidity? Your foolish, lingering notions that people are just people? That men and women are inexorably bound to the same mortal coil, and as a baseline of existence are actually, not all that different in their desires to be understood and loved? Here's a helpful image I want you to keep in mind whenever you are trying to forge a dialogue between the genders. A gaping chasm, a cavernous space, too wide to ever even scream across, separating two distinct cliffs. On one side you have men, strong, silent, brooding, insular, emotionally distant, and sex-craved. On the other, you have women, weak, erratic, shrill, overly analytic, and frigid. Interesting that she actually, gets that last part right. Continuing. There is no hope at ever knowing a man. Do you ask a wolf how its day was? Oh, I don't know, darling. Just a blur of indescribable instincts to maim and kill, to impregnate and sleep. Exactly. Wow, listen to that, This is in sharp contrast to the other article. Yeah, I don't think she thinks very highly of man. Continuing. Conversely, what can you say when your man asks you how you are? Oh, I don't know, darling. Just a blur of indescribable intense emotions arbitrarily ping-ponging between crushing anxiety, despair, and utter delight. Actually, she got that part right again. The answer, in case you haven't guessed it, is no and no. There isn't a chance in hell. And yes, that fiery pit awaits you of ever understanding one another. Or that previous sentence. God made gender like a gypsy's tag sail. A preposterous collection of mishapen puzzle pieces that will never fit together. The best we can do is jam our genitals together in a fleeting wet mashing motion to try and create a child and then take a shower. Oh, isn't that charming and delightful? And don't you love the way that she uses language to really just tear down the whole idea of male-female interaction? It's charming and delightful. Continuing on. But for those of you who just don't get it, I'm sorry. Now, I'm actually adopting her views, you know what I mean? But for those of you who don't just get it, I've taken the liberty of expanding upon the Christian Broadcasting Network's recent interview with author Shananti Feldhan, who recently penned For Women Only, What You Need to Know About the Inner Lives of Men. It is simply a glittering gem of unprecedented insight. The first thing I've ever read that could single-handedly render what was previously unintelligible weeping and grunts into something resembling a conversation between men and women. Wow, you don't think that this is like, a hen that's gossiping, do you? You don't think that this is somebody just unloading their emotions and personal biases, do you? Let us continue. Forgive me while I genuflect. That's what I was just suggesting. As a response and humble homage to 10 Things Guys Wish Women Knew About Men, a post gleaned from Fertiland's uncanny advice from interviewing more than 1,000 mysterious menfolk, I've crafted 10 things girls wish men knew about women. Using an interview with just me, because, let's be honest, when it comes to female motivation and desire, we're all the damn same, just like our penis brethren, although I appreciate Feldahan's dogged journalistic tenacity. Wow, just like I appreciate her dogged journalistic tenacity in attacking men and attacking, male-female relationship dynamics. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Women would rather feel inadequate and disrespected than unloved. Oh, look, she just took the genders and switched them around. Okay, continuing. According to Feldhahn, husbands need to know that their wives respect them both privately and publicly. Men thrive when they know that their wives trust them, admire them, and believe in them. This is not the case with us. We are inadequate. We've been over this. Between our physical weaknesses, cognitive deficiencies, and telltale vaginas. Hello. Why do you think God made a huge gaping hole in our bodies if not to remind us of our inherent lacking? We're not in the market for admiration or trust. I mean, that age-old biblical axiom was scrawled from high for a reason. Never trust anything that bleeds for 7 days and doesn't die. Women are, after all, merely voids to be filled with your love, i.e., penis. To reiterate, women neither want nor need respect from their partner, which brings us to the next point. Number 2. A woman's anger is often a response to feeling a little too respected. Again, she got it right. When a husband becomes angry with his wife, folks, she's of course being sarcastic though, right? Amazing, isn't it how that works out? You know what I mean? Like she's yeah, you know what I mean. She's pretending all this stuff is completely absurd. Continuing on. A woman's anger is often a response to feeling a little too respected. When a husband becomes angry with his wife, he may not come out and say, "You're disrespecting me," but there's a good likelihood that he is feeling stung by something his wife has done, which he considers disrespectful and humiliating. Now, that's a direct quote from the first article, which, if you check that one out, you would know. Continuing, that's right. Don't try and articulate what we might have done to upset you. Instead, not so subtly slam doors, cabinets, and drawers until we peevishly ask what's wrong, and you can respond with, "Shut your flapping lips, you daft cow," before retiring to your man cave to play Slaughter Bitch 7. Oh, is that out yet? I'm looking forward to that one. Because I respect the Slaughter Bitch franchise. We just need to know that you're angry. Not that we're being heard or some such nonsense. The sooner you punish us for our nebulous transgressions, the sooner we can self-flagellate and fillet you in repentance. On your knees, bitch. Oh, and by anger, we mean that soft crackling noise we make with our tongue sometimes. Okay, I didn't get that last part, but I think the other part was pretty clear. Yeah, I think she's being sarcastic. Okay, continuing on. Number 3. Hey, this is what the woman is saying, okay? Compare this to the article written by a man, which is from a Christian broadcasting channel and is really just spot on. Okay, continuing on. Number 3. Women are insecure. To men, affirmation from their wives is everything. If they don't receive this affirmation from their wives, they'll seek it elsewhere. Again, that's a quote from the original article. Now, here's her interpretation of it. A nice, solid emotional threat keeps us in line. We know, intuitively, from the moment we grew from rib to womanly wench, that we're imperfect. Let us know that if we don't properly bolster your understandable ego, after all, you give us everything, that you will get up and tug the terry cloth shorts off our nubble nanny. Wow, she's really going out there. You know what I mean? Look at the madness in this article. Just, the emotional monkey, jumping around from branch to branch. Amazing. I'm sorry, continuing on. Because she is quick to remind you every day, she trepances into the kitchen that you are the best looking father in town, and so funny too. All right, look, it was just a matter of time before she started using vocabulary that even I don't understand, right? So there you go, right? The verbal skills of the female. Let us continue on with her article. Number 4, women feel the burden of being the provider for their family. Just kidding. Men simply bear the emotional burden of providing for their family. It's not a burden they've chosen to bear. Men are simply wired for this burden. Again, that's a quote from the original article. Here's her response. God intended you, mighty men, to rule over the creatures of land, sea, and sky. And when critters great and small are under your thumb and care, that weight can be crushing. Think nothing of what us women must endure. Chapped hands, tirelessly washing dishes, mending socks, cooking not so flavorful meals because you hate salt and anything browned, grinding shout sticks into soiled underpants, and raising our 5 children to be God-fearing, obedient minions. We provide very little but a set of breasts to hang a snuggish blouse on. Which brings me to the next point. Well, don't move on so quickly. I think that your previous point deserves a little consideration. What an image she creates there with her words. It almost would want to make you feel sorry for the women, right? Like painting this picture of, the frontier pioneer woman from 200 years ago. I wonder what that woman would think of a modern woman, who would write an article such as this. Let's continue. Number 5, women want less sex. Quote, men simply need to be wanted. Regular, fulfilling sex is critical to a man's sense of feeling loved and desired. Unquote. It's from the original article. Her response. This is not so for us. Being desired is confusing. And I'm sorry, I don't know when she's being sarcastic or when she's, being satirical or mocking. It's really hennish and peckish, if you ask me. And since I'm the one reading, I'm just going to offer my opinion from time to time. Continuing. This is not so for us. Being desired is confusing, inducing feelings of panic and shame. Sometimes, but for this we pray, we feel pangs of disorienting lasciviousness, cravenly craving the naked body of our husband near us. But we cleverly subsume these feelings into that of our better halves, reminding ourselves with a daft pinch of the clitoris that fulfilling sex is the realm of menfolk. Orgasms are highly overrated. That kind of muscular spasming is unsightly and time-consuming. I don't know if she's being sarcastic or not. Number 6, sex means more than sex. Quote, when a husband feels rejected sexually, he not only feels his wife is rejecting him physically, but that she is somehow rejecting his life as a husband, provider, and man. Unquote. We will never reject you. Simply present your member before our faces, even if we're sleeping, and we will do the rest. Grope our bottoms as we bend to clean the toilet or tuck our toddlers into bed. Sex does not indeed mean more than sex. It means we are doing our God-given wifely duty to drain your beautifully veined trouser snake. Well, there's a little poetry for you. So, whoever said that women can't use words creatively, well, let them refer to this. Continuing on. When we fail to open our legs for our husbands, we condemn his very existence, his dominance over our bodies and lives. So keep those slides swinging faster than a Western saloon's door. Well, there you go. I think the woman's words speak for themselves. Continuing on. Number 7, women struggle with mental temptation. Quote, even the most godly husband cannot avoid noticing a woman who dresses in a way that draws attention to her body. Men can choose whether to dwell on those images and memories or dismiss them, but they can't control when those images appear. Unquote. Her response, we too understand this struggle. And she's going to be very sarcastic and, belittling and things like that. And she's going to paint the male as this groping ape, animal, and the female as this horrible oppressed victim. So I think we figured that out by number 7. Okay, we too understand this struggle, although the male figure, his quiet bulge beckoning us from his too tight trousers, is not something we're mentally tempted by. We never think about a dusty, sweat-smeared cowboy ravaging us in the barn, our panties tugged around our knees as he takes us from behind, his hot breath against our neck, bringing us to the brink of ecstasy. Well, it sounds like that's exactly what she's thinking about right now. Methinks the lady doth protest too much. Number 8, women enjoy romance, but doubt their skills at receiving it. Okay, that's the reverse of what the original article said, which you would know if you had checked it out. And it would just enhance your pleasure of this video. I'm just saying. Men want to be romantic, but they doubt their ability to pull it off. For example, a wife may balk when her husband asks her to go along to the hardware store. But it's likely that he's asking because he sees it as a time they can get away as a couple and hang out together. What's not romantic about that? Her response, prepare yourselves, cover the ears of the children. There is nothing more romantic than being asked to go to the hardware store, pursuing aisles of glistening screws and packages of sandpaper, following behind you as the fluorescent lights burn our eyes a little, and you ask again if a gas grill might be a good addition to the patio. Is the stuff that makes our heart flutter. Oh, good. I'm so glad that, she feels that way about it. We just want to be near you and watch you carry all those power tools we can't afford to the checkout counter. Another good place to get away together? A noisy sports bar where you can slosh beer on my new skirt and scream in my ear. Oh no, not the new skirt. Not the one with the floral pattern. Oh dear. Continuing on. Number 9, women worry about their appearance. What men really want to know is that their wives are making an effort to take care of themselves and not letting themselves go because it matters to them. The husbands appreciate the efforts their wives make to maintain their attractiveness. And her response, when we're not worrying about what's for dinner and if the kitchen counters are still sticky, we're wondering compulsively if we're pretty enough. If our vaginas are eliciting the proper scent of Fuji breeze. If our breasts are pert enough, our asses high enough. If our 4 hours of sleep, because you can't sleep unless you've come 4 times, is showing beneath our swollen eyes. Remind us that our worrying is worth it. See number 6, present your member and penetrate. Again, I'm just speechless. I don't know what to say. Luckily, we're at number 10. Number 10, women know how much their husbands love them. Quote, men aren't confident in their ability to express this, but they love their wives dearly. Men want to show how much they love their wives and long for them to understand this fact. Again, it's from the original article. Okay. Her response, we understand. Don't ever say those 3 pesky words. We know how humiliating that is. Simply squeeze our breast absent-mindedly as you're walking to the garage, or bring home some extra steak from the butcher that can be defatted for dinner. Sign our mother's birthday card with a sloppy X instead of your name as you snicker at the television and call Hillary Clinton a wrinkled old slut. We love you too. So there you go. And that's from Katie Tandy. And you can follow her on Twitter. So, 10 things girls wish men knew about women. There you go. And I'd be very curious as to what you think about this article compared to the other article. which, is read, in the other video. Because, wow, what a sharp contrast, huh? I mean, I don't think you could see a sharper contrast there. The original article it tries to discuss an important issue in a reasonable, rational way. This response is worse than a crazy, insane hen, just ripping herself to pieces. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate. And don't forget to join me, Howard Dare, Wednesday and Saturday evenings, 5 p.m. Pacific time for open MGTOW hangouts. I hope to see you there. Thank you, MGTOW.